All right, today we are going to do a hot take, okay? I've been sitting on this topic for quite some time now, and I feel like now it's going to be a good time to go and talk about it, especially with Leota now being a thing on global, that I think is going to be the perfect time. So, the topic for today is going to be mono type teams, okay? Mono green, mono blue, mono red. I want to talk about the good and the bad and what exactly it brought to the game health wise. So, that is what we're going to dive into today, and in the comment section, let me know. Let me know your thoughts on mono type teams. Do you like them? Do you think that they are healthy for the game? And going further, do you want the devs to go ahead and dive even more into mono teams, or would you like for them to start straying away from it and maybe introducing other type teams that we don't have in game? Okay, and let me know your thoughts. And also, I am on a new mic setup, so let me know how it sounds as well. And be sure to drop a like and hit the sub. So when it comes to mono teams, okay, I could sit here and lie and say that these teams are just healthy. I can say that they're fun. I can say that they're broken. Half of that is true, right? I mean, to say that these mono type teams are bad by any means is just crazy talk, right? I mean, you take a look at this team and you're like, yeah, this team is bad. You're absolutely crazy. It's not. You know, it's one of the most fun and most broken teams in the entire game. Don't get me wrong, but with them having these mono type teams, it kind of takes away the value of you not only being able to summon for units that you may like, but let's just say, right, because I'm a free-to-play player, you guys all know this already. You know, like when a brand new unit drops on either the JP care or the global side, I have to take into account, you know, not only am I a content creator, but I'm a free-to-play content creator, so it's like I kind of not only have to summon for the meta units, but I also am forced to skip on these said units that either don't really have a meta effect because they're not part of a mono team. Like, honestly, thinking back on it, I think the last unit that we've had, and I'm going to be talking from a global point of view, not JP and Care because you don't have those units yet, but I think the last unit to have dropped on global that was not part of a mono type team, low-key, was Party Noel. I think this unit, in my opinion, was the last unit to have released on the global side that was not part of a mono team, that was really good, really fun, really broken, and you can pretty much take her on multiple team comps and just any team comp and she would fit in perfectly because the unit was very versatile and she really didn't play any support role, but she kind of played a role to where you can, bam, you just slap her on any team, she provides all the debuffs necessary, and she still made the team very, very good. Honestly, like, let me know your thoughts on this unit because I feel like that was the last one we had in terms of global release that really like was a meta PvP unit, but also at the exact same time not a mono type unit as well. In comparison to, you know, obviously Red, you know, the one reason, and I said this multiple times, that you summon for this unit is because he fits on the mono red team. Like, if this unit was not part, like if you didn't have any, you know, mono red typing or anything, I legit think half the players would skip this unit because of the fact that you know, really didn't need him unless you are a Uno fan, which I am, but not really this Uno in particular. So I think this unit, the reason why everyone summoned for him was because of the fact that he fit on this mono type team, whereas if he wasn't part of the mono red team, that I do think a lot of players would skip him. Same exact thing could be said for the upcoming you know, Vanessa, Mimosa, etc. So let's go over to Pride Win and let's actually talk about the units dropping after Milliona because they actually unironically fit into this video. So taking a look over here, right? We've already talked about the units dropping afterwards, right? Obviously, Mimosa, William, Vanessa, Zora, Noel, Rill, and then Spirit Divino. These units are dropping after Milliona, and these units, some of them are going to be playing a meta role because, well, yeah, I'm sure you guessed it already, they will be fitting in mono type teams. Example, this season Mimosa has a LR passive to where if all allies had the sense attribute at the start of the battle, grant invulnerability to the ally with the highest all attack for one turn. Again, revolving around the mono green. It's just like they've seen, okay, and I know the devs know this for a fact. They know that because they made these mono teams, because they know that a lot of people are heavily invested into the meta scene of just being able to keep up with these meta teams, they're like, you know what, let's constantly have release brand new units that have some sort of mono team mechanic to where you have to run them on a mono green team. Because like low key, if you summon for this Mimosa and you don't run on a mono green, it's like, are you even using the unit correctly? think about it, okay? It's like you're completely missing out on a passive that would end up being very, very broken for that said team. But if I want to stray away from the meta side of things and just run this unit on a, you know, maybe Black also Witch Queen, Julius, and then this Mimosa, it's like, well, I'm not going to be benefiting from her passive at all because I don't run her on a mono green. It's just like, and I hate that. I absolutely hate that. It's like it forces free-to-play players and maybe even pay-to-win players to go ahead and summon for these units that fit specifically for the mono team. And I get this every single comment, every video I make, right? People always ask me, you know, I always ask you guys, oh, will you summon for these units? Let me know in the comment section. And they're always saying like, no, because I've already made a ton of investment into the mono red team. I've already summoned for Witch Queen, Black Asta, Red Yuno, etc. So unfortunately, like I even had people in the comment section saying that they skipped Mirliona because they were so like invested into the whole mono red team with Black Asta to the point to where that they had to go ahead and skip Mirliona because they were free to play, because they didn't have enough resources and currency. Like summoning for Mirliona is one thing, right? But if you don't have the units to support Mirliona, it's like, well, you know, should you even summon for them? And I kind of feel bad. And it's just like, again, it goes back to the revolvement around mono teams. And this, like, I would probably say Black Asta really introduced the whole mono team, you know, because up until that point, yeah, we did have mono units that did have it, such as this Charlotte, which gave a, a buff to the blue typing, which inflicted a silence onto the enemy for one turn. This was, I would say this unit probably introduced the first mono type team, and it wasn't that bad for the time being, right? It really wasn't that bad, but it got really, 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 really bad once around Asta did come out, because then it was like, not only, you know, did you have to get Asta, but you had to summon for Witch Queen, and then if you did summon for Witch Queen, then wait, where is she? If you summon for Witch Queen, then it's like, okay, cool, I could run this team on a mono red, giving a immortality buff to Asta and Asta only. It's like, okay, cool. And then all of a sudden we saw this Yuno come out, and it's like, wait, this Yuno also fits the mono red team. Wait, let me go ahead and summon for him, because originally I was gonna skip, but then it's like, I see that is buffing mono red and I already have myself Witch Queen and Black Asta, so let me go ahead and summon for him as well. And then it's like, you also have Charmy, which really doesn't fit into the mono team, but at the exact same time she does, because she's so good for the mono team and just very broken. And it's like, and the list goes on, and then that's just the mono red, right? That's just mono red. And then you take a look at mono green, Mirliona, okay? Charlotte, you can go ahead and exclude, because like this unit is very good and very versatile, right? But taking a look at the passive, if all allies belong to the sense attribute, at the beginning of the battle, grant all allies 80% of own max HP as a barrier for one turn. And this is just the units that we have in game now. Taking a look at the units releasing after Mirliona, bam, Mimosa, mono green typing, bam, Party William, blue typing, perfect. So all allies have the technique attribute. When the battle starts, grant protection to the ally was the highest all attacks for 2 turns. So mono green, mono blue, Destiny Vanessa, mono green, Zora, mono blue, this blue healer Noelle. Okay, so not mono typing, real gonna be mono red, and then that leaves, you know, how many units? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, is it really 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units. Okay, 7 confirmed units that will be dropping after Festival of Mirliona. Once she does leave, these units will be available on global. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of these 7 units are fitting on a mono type team. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I hate this. I hate this. Again, I feel like a lot of players could probably agree with me, because it's like I don't want to summon for these units, right? I don't want to summon for these units, but at the exact same time, if I want to fit in on a mono, like on the meta scene, then it's like, okay, cool, I have to summon for this unit, because not only did I make investment into the mono red team, but it's like I have to keep up and summon for this unit, because otherwise then I end up missing out on a big unit that could and would potentially win me the match. Like this red Rill, I mean, having a speed +5 buff at the start of the battle, it may not seem crazy, but it actually is, considering the fact that this unit is once again introducing or working with mobility and damage reduction, which is really helpful, right? Just allowing these units to kind of go faster and speed up wise. You have Destiny Vanessa, which is giving a immortality buff to green defending units, which is going to be Mirliona. So like this unit is going to be a pretty big key and vital unit to the mono green team, right? So I have not been the biggest fan, and it just gets even worse like after Miliona, because it's like back-to-back non-stop mono type teams, and I hate that. I actually hate that. I mean, like, if I'm going to summon for a unit, I definitely want it, like, out of everything regarding the kit, I think their LR passive is something I want to make sure I can make use of. Like, I'm not going to summon for a unit just for me not to be able to use them on like a generic team, right? So it sucks a lot, man. I absolutely hate it. Now, given there are some units that do fit on a mono type team that you don't have to run on a mono team, example, Charlotte, right? Just a really good unit because she has an amazing ultimate. I would say her ultimate is probably the best thing regarding her kit, but I mean, obviously her LR passive is a big contender as well. You have Zora, which does have a mono blue LR passive, which is granting a 15+ speed to yourself at the start of the battle. Like, this is massive. This is very, very massive. And it just gets even worse at the LR +5. If you all Hallis had the technique attribute, inflict a buff block onto the enemy with the highest all attack at the start of the battle. So what I want the devs to do, okay, be more creative. Go back to, you know, how the game was, and just releasing, you know, units that don't fit on a mono team. Make these units have like a passive to where it can fit on pretty much any and all teams, and just allow us to run these units, like, you know, kind of allow us to slap different units together. They don't have to be mono typing specific. And I think that is going to be where a lot of players do have fun, because it's like, if like, for example, right, if a unit ends up being a typing and, you know, they don't fit on a mono team, is like majority of the times we end up skipping because they don't offer value to that mono green team. They don't offer value to that mono red team, and it's like we end up skipping even though we may be a big fan of these units. But if we're someone that is invested into the meta, then it's like we have to skip because they're not mono green, they're not mono red, they're not mono blue. And I feel like that's been the problem for quite some time now, especially once Asta released. And it just, again, it gets even worse so because we already know the units releasing after this. So I'm kind of hoping we are going to be getting brand new units on JP and KR here in just a few days time. We will have the review. I will stream it, and it should be a confirmed Finral. I'm not sure who the other unit will be, but I'm kind of hoping from now until, or actually just from now and going forward, because again, we are getting the anniversaries for the JP and global side quite soon. I'm really hoping that they do start to stray away from it, because otherwise, like, once, like, because even though technically we do have, you know, quote unquote real-time PvP, it's like half the teams, like, if I go into PvP right now, okay, let's go into PvP right now, the team comps that they are running, what is it? Oh, PvP reset for me, 285. Okay, majority of the times you're gonna end up seeing yourself fighting mono green, mono red, mono green, mono red. It's gonna be some sort of iteration between mono green and mono red, and it's legit the same teams over and over and over again. And me personally, I just find that really boring. It's like, I want to run a team comp like this, and if I'm in upper ranking, low-key, this team loses like 10 out of 10 times, right? So I feel like the devs need to be more creative. They need to release more units, come up with new mechanics for said units, and just not make them so monotyping. But again, from a business point of view, I know why they're releasing it. It's like they know players are going to summon for these units because it makes them money. They know that players are going to be forced to summon for these units because they fit in with the mono red, mono green typing, and it's like, it's easy bucks for them. It's easy money for them. But again, I think I'll go ahead and end it here. Let me know your thoughts. It was a big, you know, ramble session, I guess. But that's how I feel personally, okay? That's how I feel. Like, legit, we have not had, it's been a while since we had a unit that does not fit on a mono team that's actually meta, and I would probably say that this Noelle is probably like the big contender for that spot. Anyways, I'll go ahead and end it there. Let me know your thoughts. Mono teams, man, I hate it and I love it at the exact same time. Crazy.